everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be sharing a very easy to do art journal layout, and I will be doing this layout on a page out of an 8x8 Dylusions journal. Now when I get my Dylusions journal, before I even start using them, I do remove quite a few pages out of there. If I do not remove pages, in the end my journal will be extremely bulky and I might have problems closing it. So I just go ahead and remove pages out of there, and I do use them, as you can see here. I do use them for art journal layouts as well, and I will go ahead and maybe use a binder ring or 3 of them and punch some holes into these pages and bind them all together once I've completed quite a few of them. So here I am going to go ahead and begin working on my background, and with a finger dauber, just for some more control, I am applying that Distress Oxide ink to my background through a stencil. And I will go ahead and list all the items that I used today down in my description box, along with the exact colors and so on for the products that I used today. So you can see here I'm just applying it all over my page and just leaving a few spaces without any color. And next up I will go ahead and begin stamping on my background. Now I do not want my stamp to be too bold, so you'll see I stamp it off on a scrap piece of paper first before I add it to the background. So right now I'm just using my Distress ink pads to fill in the spaces that I left blank before. And I will go ahead and blend it into the previous color that I used. I will also add a third color and blend it really nicely together, and then I'll go ahead and ink my edges using black soot. So I just wanted to add a little tip for blending colors together. I do suggest you use finger daubers like the one I'm using right now, and I am applying it by using a circular motion and just basically blending them all together after I add the color. I am adding the color all over right now, and then I go back in and I do blend them all together, especially the edges where different colors meet. And I think that these finger daubers, they are a lot easier to use than the circle, those little blending tools, the little blending sponges. I find these daubers a lot easier to use because they cover just a small area at a time, so it gives you a little bit more control where you add your color, and it's just using your finger instead of that circle tool. It just gives you a little bit more control in blending all these colors together. And here you can see I am going to go ahead and add my tissue now to my paper, and I did cut out the first one, but I do not want the edges to be straight. So here I'm just giving it a rough look by tearing off the edges, and I am going to apply that using some Dina Wakley gel medium. And you can see once you add this tissue to the background with that gel medium, it blends directly into that background. It looks like it's part of that background right away. It looks as though I have drawn that piece on that background, which of course I did not. I am not good at drawing at all, and I tend to use stamps on my layouts, or I use collage paper such as these, tissue paper. You can also get the same effect by using napkins. And I believe I do have a layout on my channel, which I'll link down below, where I use napkins on my layout, and you get basically the same effect. So there you can see I added my focal point, which would be these two ladies, and here I'm going to be adding some more details to my background using these stamps, and I do use one of the colors that I added previously. And like I said before, I will go ahead and link all these items and colors down below. So you may notice that once I'm adding these details, I do keep them very close to the focal points, and I also add them in clusters around the focal point. Right now I'm adding some acrylic white paint. I'm adding these dots using that paint to the edges. And I believe next up I will go ahead and add some word phrases to this layout. Now, sometimes I leave my layouts without any word phrases or quotes, and sometimes I add them in. And today I decided to go ahead and add 3 word phrases, and I am using some Tim Holtz chipboard pieces. And I do remove some of the chipboard from behind those word phrases because it was a bit bulky. I also used what was left on the finger dauber that I used previously to just add a little bit of color to the word phrases so that it blends a little bit nicely into the background and looks like it's part of the layout instead of just standing out as bold white as it is right now. So here I'm just outlining my word phrases. I'll also go ahead and add a border around my layout, and I am using the Sakura Glaze 3D Glossy pen in black, and I absolutely love this pen. I've been using it quite a lot on my layouts recently. It gives a very nice 3D look and adds some dimension, and I'm really loving how this layout turned out. So if you enjoyed this process today, be sure to give me a thumbs up before you leave. And if you're not already a subscriber, I do hope you consider subscribing today as well. So I want to thank you all for watching, and until my next video, bye.